for the big plays. Firebirds Weekly. This week's guest is Brian Rhatigan.
Good evening. Welcome to Firebirds Weekly, episode 12. I am one of your co-hosts, Chris Sipperly. I'm joined by Adam Samarov, and today's guest is Brian Rhatigan. Hey, Brian, how are you?
Good, Chris, Adam. How you guys doing? Thanks for having me. Let's get fired up for the Firebird season, baby.
Yes, sir.
He's in mid-season form.
Yeah.
All right.
So we just wanted to get a chance to find out. We know that you are the hype man for the Albany Firebirds and the Albany Firewolves and Phoenix and a bunch of different teams around here. So let's start at the beginning. You know, where did you grow up, and talk about just your life. Growing up at all in this area.
Yeah. So I was born in Albany, raised in Delmar when I was 5. Went through Bethlehem my whole school career. Went to Oswego, and came home, stuck around the Albany area. But I'll tell you, when I was a kid, all I did was go to Saints games, Conquest games. All I want to do was get on the big screen. Like this is what I was meant to do from since a young age. If anyone knows, if you go back, old profile, please don't do this. But my old profile pictures, I'm at the Siena game doing all the halftime shows, and so since a young age, I've always wanted to be on the big screen at the MVP, and started a podcast during COVID. Did well, the back nine. Started with playing golf and played golf. I wasn't good at it, so everything was better on the back nine. That's how back nine Bri came along. And Caroline Perry asked me to do the Firewolves, and she was also working for the Firebirds at the time, and the rest is history.
You said it from a young age you wanted to get into that, like the entertainment field.
Yeah.
What was the first chance of being able to, like you said, you kind of said the Siena Saints and that kind of thing. How did that kind of into being of like how did the business of being that in-game host, that kind of thing? I was
just a pest. I was just a center of attention kind of guy when I was a kid. I'm not gonna, and I guess nothing's really changed. No, I just enjoy getting the crowd fired up, man. I played football my whole life. It's been my passion. I absolutely love the game, and anything I can do to just be surrounded by the crowd. That's what it's all about.
Now, how important is the crowd interaction for you in order for you to do the job that you want to do?
It's important, man. I feed off the energy. I've right off the gate, I probably used too much. I was probably yelling in the mic. I've been told, you're good. You're good. Tone it down. I'm in 3 years now. So, I enjoy what I do. Definitely love the crowd energy, but I mean, I can find it even if it's a 40-0 game, 40-7, I'll still find that energy, man. That will never happen. But,
not around here. No, yeah. Definitely not around here. Coach Ware doesn't allow that kind of stuff.
No, but we'll get them fired up regardless.
What was it like, doing your first game, for the Firewolves and then now for the Firebirds? What was it like, being able to do that for the first time for this, this?
Man, my legs were shaking in section 107, asking all the questions, but we got through. I'm blessed, man. It's pretty cool to have 3 teams under my belt in the Capital Region. I'm a passionate sports fan, and just being able to share that with all the fans. And I was talking to you guys before. I work in a school district, so I see a lot of kids that come to the games. It's a rewarding feeling, man, just being able to toss them a ball, sign autographs. It's just a cool experience being able to connect with the fans. I've met a lot of cool people.
Yeah. You said, you played football growing up and that kind of thing. Where did your love for sports and entertainment come from? Is that like something like your family was really involved with, or you saw something on TV? How did you get into wanting to do this field?
Yeah. Well, football in general. I'm the youngest of 4. My older brother is 9 years older than me, so he beat the crap out of me growing up, and he toughened me up. So I've been playing flag. I was playing flag when I was 5 years old and played all the way through high school. Obviously, if you've seen me at the games, my size didn't keep going. I couldn't play in college or the next level. Chris, if you need a a mole on the D line for Southern Vermont, you let me know.
Yeah.
I can trying to get in shape now, but yeah, man, it's an unbelievable game. But I went to school for broadcasting and communications as well, so I've just been obsessed with just talking to people, meeting new people, and yeah, I was a radio host in college, a sports radio host. I had the Giants arena host, Brandon London. He was a big mentor of mine throughout this process, just being able to connect with him, and the Giants being my favorite team and him being a Super Bowl champ is kind of cool.
Yeah.
Being buddies with him. But yeah, absolutely just love what I do, man.
So looking at it, so for you, like when you go to work, say you have a Fire Wolves game, or you have a Firebirds game, or a Phoenix game. You have done Phoenix game, yes, so this might not be a fair question, but do you have to approach any of those any differently, or is it all just kind of all the same? Like, you have five for each one?
Yeah, especially the Fire Wolves and Firebirds. I am in my car. I got to play Hungry Like the Wolf on the way to the Fire Wolves games to understand. And I'm saying Fire Wolves, Fire Wolves, Fire Wolves, Fire Wolves. And on the way to football, I'm playing Right Now by Van Halen. I'm saying Firebirds, 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 Firebirds. And I'm just, trying to get in the zone and not mess that up. And knock on wood, 3 years in, we haven't done it. We haven't messed up yet. So
I wanted to ask something that, so we've talked to, Nick, Vinar, and Ben, to those guys, and they're behind. We talked to Grace and obviously the dancers and how they're part of that game day. And that so your role obviously is a part of that. How do you tandem with Nick as game day ops, Grace with the flames? How do you in content to make sure that everybody's hitting their marks? In terms of how a game goes.
Well, first off, Nick does a great job always getting me ready. Always a fun script. We always have a good time. It's cool working with people that are young, fun, and understand this industry. It's and Grace, the Flames, the Firebird Flames, even with the Firewolves. Obviously, all scripts are different. I interact with some teams more. Like the Fire Wolves, with the Wolfpack dance team. When the dance cam, our first year, I was doing. We did the limbo. We had one of the cheerleaders up. I was going under. I was reeling them in. We had so much fun. So being able to interact and involve them any way I can. With the Flames, the flex cam. I always like in the girls on the flex cam, and just they bring so much energy as well. So any way I can incorporate, and anybody bring the kids on. Firewolves have the dance clinics. I give I'll say it's time for the flex cam, and all the kids go nuts. So any way I can bring anyone into it, man, change it up a little bit.
On the behind the scenes part of that, though, tell me a little bit about the process of, Nick puts a script together, and how do you kind of work with him in terms of like, okay, you've got a minute, at this point in the game, you got a minute during this timeout. Tell me a little bit about the behind the scenes of that, and just working with him to get everything in going in the right direction.
Yeah, he's got a super, super tough job. I mean, everybody, like Chris, we were talking, all the pieces, like it all adds up to putting on a show, and everything's got to be on time. Sometimes you go over, sometimes it's under. Under is probably a little better than over, but yeah, he's got a great layout. All the breaks, some I'm involved in, some are commercials, some are, on-field promos. So I know when to be where I'm at, and I know when to go on the field and where to be. So everyone, the stage manager, everyone does a great job. I'm just super, I love it, man. You can't ask, I know Sam Castanova's out there. He's going to be slinging, but he's got a pretty good job. I like to tell people I got the best job, but I might be a little biased.
Tell me, in your 3 years, tell me about a time that you were like, bam, this is a great promo and I hit it. Tell me something, if you got one of those maybe in your head.
Oh, my favorite one had to be there's a lot of good ones. But the Firebirds, we did a Dizzy we did a dizzy race with the kids had to go on tricycles. Mm-hmm. And I told the kids, you got to spin around, right? You got to really fast. And the kid had the bat in the air like this and was spinning like a unicorn in the air. And I had to, go with my mic, and I'm spinning and I'm getting dizzy. And they were scooping up the football. They were running sideways. The crowd was just so into it. It was so much fun.
How do you, or I'm sure it's a team effort, but how do you guys come up with the in-game entertainment? Like you said, what it's a dizzy, could be something else. Like, how do you guys come up with some of those in-game games? I guess.
Yeah.
During the like, we have like, who comes up with that and puts those together?
It's the geniuses that it's the big brain people working in the office 24/7. Not me. I show up on game day and I do what I'm told. Not in a bad way. I absolutely. That's not a bad way. I you tell me to do a flex cam. You tell me to go out and do a race. Like I'm ready to go. I know what's expected after year 3 and whatever it is to bring the energy. But I always like after the game. Sometimes I'll be like, hey, this could be a fun promo, or I definitely have a say. But I can do it all. I'm ready to do it all.
You mentioned, working with, when the kid, they have the kid ones and stuff like that. Obviously, they have a lot of contests for adults too. Just working with people, like, hey, I'm going to be on the field for this promo. Like, how do you, get them so they're not like freaking out that they're in front of a crowd of 4,000 or 5,000 people or whatever. And if there's any fun stories of like people doing like screwing up or just looking weird, and you're like had to help them. So.
Well, the second part of that is like after that question. Second part of it is, have you been confused what you're supposed to tell them to
do? Well, yes, I have. And it's just been a miscommunication. I don't have a headset on. So whatever, so whatever is being relayed, I'm waiting, my eyes are all over the place. I'm ready to go. I'm trying to make sure everyone's, behind me, the contestant. So I want to make sure everyone's set up at least like 2 minutes before. I want to make sure everyone's there. I'm glad when they're down there 10 minutes before, because then I'm like, good, stay here, don't move. We're going to fire off this promo. The best story, I'll tell you, I mean, not the best, but this one was good, and it happened last week at the Firewolves. It was a young kid who did the minute to wing it promo. The Firewolves score in the first minute of the third period, or the third quarter, you win free wings for a year. This kid.
That's a hell of a promo.
It's a great promo. It's a great promo. And we've had like 3 or 4 winners in the past 2 years. So we get jacked up when I win, or when the person wins. I got a big.
Sure.
Oh, it's awesome. This kid, he's probably had to be middle school, 7th, 8th grader. He was the minute to win contestant. He's all jacked up. He's handing his dad his phone 2 seconds before we're going on air, trying to set. I have patience. I'm like, all right, buddy, like, let's go, man. We're about to be on air. And the cameraman's like, hey, let's go. I'm like, hey, yeah. What he said, like we do have to do this. So it is about being on time. You don't want to be mean, but you hope they figure out, getting their time on the screen filmed beforehand, because it does get hectic when they're handing phones out or they're screaming at their buddies in the crowd like, hey, like put me up, film me. I'm like, oh, come on. But it's all fun.
You need to be down here now.
Yeah, so like, yeah, I mean, I've seen some really cool stuff that you guys have done, and I think, again, there's a lot of things that go into this thing to make the thing fun for the fans, and I think, obviously, you're a big part of that. Going forward, now that we know that the AF1 is going to be shown on Vice, and also in addition will be Evergreen now. How much does that change your job, or doesn't it really?
Yeah, timing is super, super, super important. The games, most of the Firewolves games are on ESPN Plus. So it's the same thing. It's you got to be on time. You got to get off the field. And yeah, I mean, I'm just super excited to hear that the games are going to be on Vice, and it's a long time coming. These guys deserve it. it's going to be a blast. I mean, you should be in the arena. If you're not in the arena, you're doing something wrong. But being on TV, if you can't catch the game, I mean, that's just awesome. Awesome for the league, awesome for the fans, and I'm excited to see where it goes.
And you said, like, you know, again, you know, you've been around and you've gone to different iterations of, you know, when it was the Firebirds back in the 90s probably, and teams in that. What is a real big, you know, we can get really big crowds and we have big crowds. Do you feed off of that energy when you got 6,000-7,000 people in the crowd versus maybe a couple of them?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I mean, but like I said, if there's been snowstorms, there's only been 2,000, 3,000 in a game, and it's still rocking, man. You're at a sporting event, like you know what to expect. But yeah, I just try to, you know, I like getting there early. Sometimes I'll put in my headphones. I'll walk around the stadium. I love the security guards. That's my best thing. I go around, I walk around, I calm down, and you know, just get in the zone. But regardless, one person there, 5,000 people there, 500,000 people there, I'm going to put on a show. So
I like how he's got you've got your game routine just like these guys. Like, I'll go through the game routine.
Oh, I'm bouncing up and down. I'm doing my pogos. Like I'm about to run out on the field, but I don't get the intro. I do want to run out with the dry sparks one day, but
yeah.
What do you say, Jeff? What do you say?
He's using our podcast to get the run out to the dry sparks.
Hey, you know, whatever it takes. That's the bottom line. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What does this role mean to you as someone who, you know, can promote not only the Firewolves, the Firebirds, the Phoenix, and all that, but, you know, promoting Albany as, you know, a need to see it in person venue for your AF1?
Yeah, man, I'm obviously 518. I'm Albany through and through. I'm excited to, you know, extend out to Schenectady for the Phoenix for their opening weekend, Friday and Saturday. Really stoked. But you know, being in my hometown, like I said, being a young kid going to these games, I understand what's in store, what I have to do. It really means a lot, and I don't take it for granted one bit. The fact that I have 3 teams, I feel like I'm being a little greedy. You know, if I get older, I might be able to pass those down to some young kids that are ready to work. But man, I love what I do, and I don't even know how it's crazy how I have 3 under my belt. I love it, and just putting on a show, man. That's what it's all about. Sharing the energy.
And you have to be super high energy for that kind of role. Just, you know, to get the crowd hyped. You know, maybe it's a low time in the game, or just like, you know, whatever's happening, and you're like, let's fire these guys up.
Yeah. Sometimes I jack myself too much up before I go out on the field for a t-shirt toss, and I'm checking my pulse when I get back. My face is bright red. So, you know, I'm trying to, you know, hitting the treadmill once in a while, you know, trying to slim down and make sure I can hit these t-shirt tosses. And Chris, you know, carry the t-shirt gun around, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, all I can say is thank God for Jeff Levac, because he was able to defuse that bomb that was ready to take off.
So, okay, I've heard part of the story. Apparently, there was a t-shirt gun malfunction at some point.
Yes.
Almost.
Yeah. Can you tell that story? It sounds like it's like, oh geez.
Yeah, I can tell this one. Buckle down.
Tell that story.
So, Chris, that was probably the first game I met you, right?
Close to it.
To it. Yeah. We're, you know, so Chris was coming around. He was running with me with the t-shirt gun after Jeff was like, "You want to run with this thing?" You know, you see a t-shirt gun, like, yeah, I can do that. I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Right. So I'm jacked up. And I have this t-shirt. I'm pumping it up. Right. Chris puts a t-shirt and it's not going. I'm like, what did I do? And this needle is on red. And I'm like, dude, we're gonna explode. This thing is gonna, you know, I'm like, so we just start throwing the shirts out. I'm giving them the players, like just tossing out the dancers. We run in and we put that gun down. I'm like, this thing's gonna explode. You know, me and Chris are looking at each other. I'm looking at Jeff, and Jeff comes over and he's like, get your shin away or you're not gonna have a leg. And I just move out of the way and boom, he pops it, unscrews it. I think it wasn't screwed on correctly in the first place, but yeah, it was my first T-shirt gun experience and probably my last. I'll let the mascots do it.
Yeah, 100%. Again, God bless Jeff.
I was gonna say, it sounds like Jeff saved the day.
Because his grip strength is second to none. Because I couldn't get that thing to budge.
No, that was crazy. That was crazy. But I like showing off the arm. I like tossing them. I like trying to hit the second deck. But we did get one off, and it almost took off Gaz's head. Right?
yeah, that went all the way up to the mezzanine.
Mm-hmm.
Which is where he's doing his broadcast up there, right?
Yeah. Oh, that was good.
How is it, working with, because in your role, I'm sure you're working with Spike, the mascots and things like that. Talk about your interaction, with the mascots. They're obviously up in the crowd. They're up down on the field. Whoever is in there is doing, they're all their work, working really hard, obviously to make the fans happy and stuff like that. Talk about your interactions with the guys that are the mascots.
Yeah, that's a great question because when I was a kid, I wasn't scared. I wasn't a fan. I wasn't like a super, like I was just like, that's a mascot, man. Like that's cool. But like when I got older, I've had such a deep appreciation for these mascots. And I go back to the days when we were playing NCAA football with the Syracuse Orange, I did enjoy the mascot games. I did. But yeah, Spike is awesome. We got I'm not going to say the Phoenix. I don't know if it was announced. And then we have Albany with the Firewolves. And this weekend we had the mascot game for Alfie's birthday for the Firewolves, and we had 16 Capital Region mascots. I didn't even know some of these businesses had mascots walking around, and there was a goldfish, there was an army sergeant, there was a rhino, there was a Southpaw. Rowdy came out, man. 16 Gunner. We had the Glens Falls Dragon. Everybody came out, and I think I gave every single one a high five.
Now, have you ever, obviously they can't take the head off. Have you ever had a hard time communicating with a mascot? Because obviously they're not audible because normally they speak through the masks.
Yeah, usually they're looking at me like, they're waving, they're throwing their hands at me, and finally they're just like,
I think I just found the next clip for our Instagram reel. Him doing
but then they call me over and they're like, hey, man, it's pretty hot in here. I'm like, yeah, I'm glad I'm not in their suit. I don't know how they do it, and I give them all the credit, too. So it really takes a village, man, to put on this
100%.
show. Yeah.
100%. And that's,
I'm glad you brought the mascots up.
We do it all, every week. This is what it takes for people to be able to come to an arena and watch a football game. That's really what we're trying to do. And, it's endless the amount of effort and time that goes into this sort of thing. So I think it's important to, that's not an easy job. I mean, you just said it. I mean, those usually have fans, and sometimes fans don't work. So it's no joke. And thank goodness, at least with this season, and same thing with the Firewolves, at least it's not in the middle of summer like it used to be, like with Mac and Jack. Mm-hmm. I know those guys that are really hot on block parties, things of that nature. So.
Yeah, I give them all the credit when they go out there because obviously I'm jamming. I try to go out there before the game and just dance a little bit and support the band and talk to the fans. So I couldn't even imagine doing it in a costume.
Going back to the T-shirt thing, I've been to Firebirds games for a long time. Obviously gone to a bunch, the last few years. It always seems like that's when the fans get the most hype is when the T-shirt can and the girls or the people come out with t-shirts. That seems to be the most hype. You don't have to hype them up for that because they're getting T-shirts.
They're getting T-shirts, yeah. It's gonna be a fun one. Opening day, I'll tell you that. Opening kickoff.
So you guys have a script and pretty much close to done, I would imagine.
A little something off the rip.
Yeah, good.
I don't know.
It's exciting.
Yeah,
got to do something special for game one. Got to do something special for game one.
Yeah, that was game one last year. That was awesome.
Yeah, actually, this last game, I think, because it was a mascot game, everybody, a lot. It was a great crowd, and I was in the T-shirt. I was random making eye contact with a bunch. I saw probably 8 people I knew. So I just turned around and I just heaved it like I was at a wedding. I was like, I don't even know. Just someone take it. And I saw a lot of, it's funny when you see the people, and then you have a target when you know someone. Yeah. I had a dime the other night. It felt good. I did feel like Castronova the other night.
So the question, I guess, is a silly one. Does anybody ever heckle you outside of the arena looking to win a prize?
Wait, has anyone ever heckled me outside the arena?
Yeah, trying to get a prize out of you.
Oh. Yeah, oh man, all the time. I'll see what I can do. I give them one of those.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
I did in the garage the other day. I did get a knock on my window. That was wild. I got a little knock. Get some tickets. Sure. I got you. I know they're watching. They got me on Facebook. So that email, that message is coming for those tickets. But the knock did scare me in the parking lot. That was really, really scary. That was really scary.
Yeah.
It is interesting too. Like you see some of these other teams in Orlando or wherever, and it's like, these guys obviously are they're doing the same thing, playing AF1, that kind of thing. But it just seems like up here, it's like, and we've had this talked about with Coach Cisse's interview, Coach Ware's interview. The fans aren't fans here; they're family. And obviously, I'm sure you've seen that firsthand, after games and seeing these guys sign autographs. Talk about, being a part of an organization that treats the fans like that.
Man, I mean, you can't ask for anything better. I mean, one, football is family, whether it's, me coaching at my high school team or, the Firebirds, the community, the flock support, everyone. Like they do such a great job. Everyone behind the scenes. I'm not even going to list them because I'm going to forget someone. I know there's a bunch. You guys do an awesome job. I think I earned myself a bag after 2 years. They do look good. They do look good. No,
you're going to get a bag, but it's going to be empty.
Yeah, that's
that's
yeah.
awesome. That is, and that's no slight.
But man, it's there's nothing like the flock, and there's nothing like the Firebirds community. I mean, if you can just see it firsthand, if you want to talk about markets, market size, we have an unbelievable group of a great community that supports this team when they go on the road, at home, and I hope that continues, man.
Yeah, me too. And I think, like, for me as a fan, like everybody else, having these games available to watch on the road I think that is only going to help attendance. I hope, in terms of home games, because week 1 they're on the road, then they're back on the 21st, and then kind of not home for a while. So like it would be really tough to kind of keep that engagement without that opportunity to be streamed, I think.
Right, because it kind of changed to like there's a double buy in there now with Wilkes-Barre kind of going to the wayside. So that kind of slows the momentum. How do you help keep that momentum? Obviously, when they're when it's a few weeks in between of like, hey, we're not going to be back for a month, but hey, to stay high.
Well, that's a great question because I looked at my schedules for all 3 teams, and it's obviously the Firebirds are a little spaced out. The Firewolves, this is the most. We might have a back-to-back game this year. Last year we might have had 2, but this year we got a couple breaks in between, which is nice. But with the Phoenix, the Firewolves, and the Firebirds starting up, next weekend is one of them. But until June 14th, I have 2 weekends free. Besides that, all go at sporting events.
No, that's great. And again, like I look at it from a far away view because I'm not in it like you guys are. But really, how special it is to have the MVP arena, and like how many, like we hope, sometime in the near future because like all the things that that comes through that building. Sometimes I wonder if it's underappreciated, the opportunity that people have to be entertained.
You took the words out of my mouth, Chris. I mean, I was about to say, like, people can say whatever they want about Albany and the capital region, but man, when I personally am driving and I get on 787 and I see the skyline and I see that MVP arena, man, I have so much pride and just like, I'm going to put on a show like this. Like, this is our city. Like, it sounds corny, but like we do have a beautiful skyline, man. And you take it in, especially when you get off right before exit 4, you get off 3 and you come down through the Empire State Plaza, see the MVP there, Firebirds tonight. You know, it's just like, it's an incredible feeling. I don't know how to put it into words. That's how I look at it, man.
No, same here. I mean, you know, I drive up to it. I'm like, I can't wait to find a parking spot. You know what I mean? Like, let's get inside. Let's do this thing. And and you know, with that, I mean, Adam, I don't know if you have anything that you want to add on, but I think we're at a good place.
Yeah, I think you know, it's going to be fun to watch you this year be the hype man for this team, and you know, be just part of the machine that helps bring a championship back to Albany.
Yeah,
really. I mean, just part of that whole machine. Everybody's a part of that.
Yeah.
Whatever your role, it's all part of one goal.
It's honestly incredible. Like you said, you even mentioned the mascots. Like, we had 16 mascots last week. Like, having to organize all them, like, it really takes everybody. The dancers, the mascots, behind the scenes. Before I leave, thank you, all the owners, Nick, Ben, the dancers, everybody. You guys are awesome. If I forget anybody, you guys are. I love working with this team, and hope we bring home the championship to Albany this year.
Yes, sir. Thanks, man. I'm sure we'll see each other very soon.
Absolutely. Adam, Chris, appreciate you guys, man.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Brian.
All right, later, guys.